Hi, I'm Ron Hudson, and I'm going to talk to you about a foam glider challenge. A couple months ago, we were sitting in my office, me and Dave Tomasic. He had come up to fly on a Friday morning, and I mentioned him. I said, why don't we do a foam glider challenge? I saw this on Flight Test. I thought it would be fun, so I challenged him to run to Walmart with me and buy a foam glider. And so we bought these foam gliders. They were like $10. And if I can put it together, we bought these basic foam gliders for $10. And the challenge is to make this guy an RC plane. So I ordered some EDFs. I ordered two EDFs and two 20 amp ESCs. Now, Davis has had his plane done for about 2 weeks now, maybe longer, maybe a month. But I've been busy. I just got crazy busy with work, and then we had our vacation plan. My sister got married, lots of stuff going on. So I had some travel and some other obligations. But we're supposed to fly these things RC in a day and a half. Saturday morning, and it is Thursday night. So I've got less than a day to get this thing built, which is okay because my build was always going to be kind of spur of the moment. That was the idea that I had. Dave has worked very hard on his. So here's my basic idea. Here's the plan, and we'll see if it works. The CG on a plane is normally straight across the wing level. So on a plane like this, I got little dots. This is a flight test plane. There's the CG right here. So the CG goes across the plane like so. So as long as the plane balances on that center of gravity, then it'll fly. As long as you got lift and everything else working for you and your wings are good. On a plane like this though, Dave sent me a diagram and he showed me that the CG on these planes actually runs on a swept wing. It runs with the wing. So the idea is, if I take and I mount my EDF, as long as I mount my EDF and my ESCs in the wing along the center of gravity, I should be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and solder these up. I'm going to mount them into the wings. As long as I mount them both on the same side so that the weight distributes like this, then I should be good as long as they're in the same spot. I still have the batteries and the receiver that I can put on the plane and move around. And if I need to, I can add weights. So we'll see how that goes and if it works. As far as elevator, I don't know. I'll probably just use foam board. I've got a bunch of foam board laying around, so I'll probably glue something together and put a wooden control horn in and a servo. I'll probably move the servo to the nose just to deal with tail heaviness. But we'll see. I'll shoot pictures and video along the way, and we'll see how it turns out. Night number two. This is Friday night. We are flying at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is roughly 12 hours. 12 hours exactly. It's 7:59. So 12 hours from now, this thing is going to be taking flight. As you can see, I've made a whole lot of progress. So last night we got the ESCs and the EDF, in electric or ducted fan, soldered up. I did not connect the power wires. I have both of these soldered up, as you saw, and I have an XT60 connector, but I realized last night that I did not have my radio. I'm not sure yet. I'm either going to go Spectrum with an old receiver that I had out of my Icon A5, or I'm going to go Taranis and use a different receiver that I have laying around here. Here's the Spectrum receiver I have. I think this receiver might be bad, so I might just throw it in here because it's probably going to end in a ball of flames. I've got some JT connectors so I can connect up my wiring. I'm thinking of running the power through the wing, up through the wing to come out the top and then connecting inward. I'm gonna have to cut some stuff out of the plane, and I got some barbecue skewers. In flight test building instructions, we use barbecue skewers for a lot of things. So for instance, in this plane, the barbecue skewers are actually holding the wing on, which is pretty cool. So I know from Dave what he told me with his build, that these wings come off pretty easily. And if you look, there's just that little bit of foam in there, you know, just about 2 knuckles deep. So that's not going to hold very much. And I'm thinking when I put those 30mm EDFs, it's going to literally blow the wings off. So I'm going to use barbecue skewers, except instead of the baby barbecue skewers, I got these guys. These are giant barbecue skewers. And so I'm thinking I could put a skewer through here somehow. Yeah, just about like that. And skewer through both the wings, you know, cut it about there. Maybe I could put 2, one here and then one down here, to kind of give it some stability so that when I glue the wings on, they stay. The other thing I'm worried about is the stability in the back tail section. I know from throwing these with my kids that this section back here is particularly weak, especially this area right here. This right here is pretty weak and really easy to break. So I might put some either carbon fiber or some barbecue skewers in there to hold that in place. And also this, because you can see that's just held on basically by this little piece of foam right there. So that's a really weak seam there. So I might try to shore that up. Of course, I don't want to put any more weight in the back than I have to. I'm gonna figure out the tail section. We'll probably just take some foam board like this. That somebody's drawn a lovely drawing. I don't know who drew that. One of my kids. Oh no, this was a marriage counseling illustration. We'll take and just, you know, cut this and kind of frame it on there and make a little flap. I'll probably cut this off flat. That way I can just stick it on the back. So we'll get rid of the swept tail. And I've got the servos ready to go. We'll cut some stuff out. I brought my batteries home. I think I have everything I need to go. So I'm gonna probably run the time lapse again tonight and maybe stop and talk about a couple more things. If not, then I will see you in the morning. Elevator. This is just foam board taped on here, and it flaps. If that doesn't give us some authority, I don't know what will. To control the elevator, we have a control horn. If I can, this is a control horn, just a laser cut piece of wood. I'll stick that guy in there, and then use some control rods and attach a servo. The idea is to use differential thrust on the EDFs. So when I go left or right, it will put more power on one or the other. This is the spar. It's going in through here. I put another one in the back. Can't really see a little bit. That probably added some weight, but hopefully that will keep this tail feather together in case of, or when it happens, I'm probably going to put another barbecue skewer down through the tail here and glue a piece in there. But we're trying to get rid of weight. I don't know how I got to glue this one on. I used Dave's diagram on the computer and was able to draw the CG. So let's see. That should have made it tail heavy. It should be, well, maybe not. Because of the spars that I added. I don't know. Before, CG was kind of here where I had it. We shall see. Give it a little check. A little bit of nose heavy. That's good. All right, so continuing on, we're going to hook up some servo on this guy and then start gutting this out, figure out where we're going to mount the battery. Good times. Servo placement that will work. If you can see this or not. We'll put this here, a little light on it. So this will be the servo, and what it'll do, this is kind of upside down. Let me turn on the, and what it will do move back and forth. That will connect to a control rod that will control the tail. So what I'm going to do now is put it at neutral, and I'm going to make a Z-bend using the Z-bend pliers. So I'll take this wire, make a Z-bend, it goes right in like that, and when you crimp it, it does one of these. Perfect every time. It's pretty slick. We'll put this guy through here. There. Now, go underneath there. We'll connect this to the wing here, or to the elevator. That should control it. I have a straw. I don't know that I need it, but it might, just for the heck of it, I might glue that in there and cut it off just to keep it pinned down, so it doesn't flop around, and hopefully my straight. So I'll have to cut this off about right there and glue that in so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, we'll do that next. We are back. This is it's a start. All right, so what we got here is a straw from Sonic, a zip tie, plus some hot glue on there, and right now it's just hooked up to a servo center tester. The control horn seems to be holding. I think that'll be good. I need to just check, let me put it in neutral and see if there's enough. Yeah, it stays steady. So I think that'll hold. I think that straw will help it just kind of stay in place too, give it a little more strength. We'll see. I'm gonna go throw it and see if it still glides. That's what I'm doing. Every time I put something on, I just go throw it to see what happens. I think that's probably going to be better than trying to count on the line that I drew on the plane. Real world test is probably a little bit better. So we're gonna go check it and see what happens. ESC onto the wing, but it's kind of a joke how much I love zip ties and popsicle sticks. So what I ended up doing is I don't know if you've noticed in the time lapse, I've been using the hot glue gun a lot. I'm not necessarily using hot glue. I'm using the tip to melt the foam to kind of carve out cavities. So I carved out a cavity for the EDF to sit in. That's going to lower my efficiency because it's kind of sitting half in there, but I'm not really worried about it. I think I'm still going to be way overpowered. So I carved out an area, put a little hot glue in there just to tack it in, stuck a zip tie all the way through the wing, and then on the other side I have this popsicle stick which I'm going to trim off, and as long as the popsicle stick doesn't break or pull all the way through the wing, should be good. We'll do the other side the same way. Okay, we have 2 EDFs on the plane. I'm pretty pumped about that. They look all right. Are they even? I tried to measure as best I can. They look pretty close. We will find out. Just a little bit off and it's going to be catastrophic. So we will find out tomorrow if wisdom and taking your time and actual aviation experience makes a difference, or if just winging it at the last moment works out better. I think it's 50-50 with this plane because it's gonna be quite interesting. So next up, I gotta figure out how I wanna route my power to the ESCs. I'm probably going to just melt some holes and tape these in, or cut some little pieces out and then embed these ESCs inside there. That way they get nice and hot. Maybe I'll just tape them on. I don't know. I don't know how much that's going to mess with my flight characteristics, putting this stuff on the bottom of the wing either. But I know other planes, I put the ESCs in the wings. So, we'll see. I also put tape over the handy pieces of barbecue skewers. So that should be good. And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna go chuck it at my kids in the living room and see if it flies. I'll be back. All right, so I took it outside and threw it. I got a slug or some kind of snail on it, and a spider, which I killed. But it's definitely nose heavy. It got a little wet because there's water on the grass. It's dark. It's dark, but I kind of have a downhill slope, and I chucked it, and it wanted to go right down. So it wasn't going like this. It was going down. So nose heavy's better than tail heavy, but still I feel like I need to move some weight back. I don't know. I feel like anytime you put weight back is bad. So this is where I am clueless, and we shall see. So I'm gonna dry this water off. I don't blow anything up. And maybe move these back some. I could take these back farther. There's quite a bit of weight in the ESCs. So maybe I tape them back farther and chuck it again. And we'll try that. Let you know what happens. Okay, so I moved the ESCs all the way to the back of the wing and chucked it pretty hard. It went straight up and then nose right down, which means it was definitely tail heavy. Luke. Okay, so I moved the ESCs all the way to the back and chucked it really pretty hard. Again, on kind of on top of a hill in the front yard. It went straight up and straight down. The ESCs came flying off and it took a chunk out of both sides where I had them taped on. I have the chunks in my pocket so we can reattach those with a little packing tape. Oop, don't lose it. So then I just used the masking tape that was already there and taped the ESCs right on this line. The line that I drew using the diagram that Dave sent me, and it flew great. It looked awesome. Just soaring, smooth sailing, beautiful. It did come down on the road a little bit, took a chunk out of the nose, and I noticed my wing is coming off here on landings. So that's because my barbecue skewer is kind of coming in here crooked. So I don't know if I can pull this thing out or if I just need to add some more glue, but maybe I'll tape that to reinforce it. I'll have to add tape to both sides for the weight, but this is great news for this plane. On the other hand, because these lines were perfect, that means Dave is probably going to kick my tail tomorrow. So we'll find out. The ESCs in, they're mounted pretty flush. I'm pretty happy with that. These wires are still loose. I still haven't powered them up yet. And with brushless motors, these are brushless ESCs or brushless EDFs. With brushless motors, they can rotate either way. And if they're rotating the wrong way, you just switch any two wires. And that's why I soldered in the bullet plugs, because I wanted to make it easy to switch the wires. So once I get it powered, I'll make sure that it's thrusting in the right direction, and then I will take these wires down with some packing tape, and probably put some packing tape over the ESCs too, just in case. I don't think I need to zip tie them in. I think they're going to be pretty solid there. They shouldn't go anywhere. They do have a heat sink right here on top, so I think they'll be fine. It's not like it's going to be a everyday flyer for me. It's just a one-day experiment. So we'll find out. So I've got these, I've got my control wires all in one convenient place right here in the middle. So I'm guessing I'll put my receiver somewhere here, and then battery. And if I can mount the battery right at the CG point, or right around that area to where it can move forward, by centimeters, then I should be able to dial it in. I'm pretty excited about this. This is going pretty well. It is now 10:59, so at 11 o'clock. We have 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 8, 11. Well, I have 9 hours. 9 hours till flight time. I just got to wire this stuff up. I still got to program the radio, but that shouldn't be too bad. I'm feeling pretty confident. All right. We'll get these. I'm probably going to wire power to the ESCs and fire up the EDFs. So stay tuned. Okay, we have some power wired up. It is not pretty. I would redo it if I had time, probably, or have taken a little more time to make it prettier. But I think it'll work. There's power connecting these two together to one XT60, going to these guys. So let's plug it in and see what happens. I'm going to just use a servo. I'm going to use a servo calibrator. Well, yeah, I could do that. As long as I don't use the back on one. I think it should be okay. We'll find out. This could blow up or it could work fine. So I'm going to do just one at a time. Let's do that. Signal is brown or negative. Well, just want to make sure I don't have stuff. It's an EDF, so it's not like it, and it's only a little 30 millimeter guy, so it's not like it should make a giant havoc. I'm gonna move the soldering iron. I don't think I'll need it. That way I don't burn myself. And let's grab a battery from the bag. I should not do this live, but I'm doing it. All right, I think this battery is good. We shall find out. All right, so we've got the thing plugged in. Let's make sure it's in manual mode and that it is all the way down to 0. That should work. Plug the battery into here. Nothing. Oh. I expected the other one to go, but it was this one. Let's do that again. I'm happy about that. That sounds awesome. Okay, now let's plug the other guy in. I think I can do... this might mess it up. Oh, let's just try it without doing that. I don't want to chance it. I've got this back. I'm gonna have to... Let's take it all the way to 0. This is the plus minus. Okay, that one is blowing the wrong way. Let's do this. Switch 2 wires. Okay, let's check the other one, make sure the wire's on it. This sounds so awesome. I'm so happy about that. The sound. This one's backwards too. So we'll switch 2 of these guys, which is why I made these so easy to connect. You should always use bullet connectors, I think, with brushless motors, because, and I'm gonna have to fix that heat shrink, because it just... I don't know why it's doing that, but... Maybe it's not pumping the battery or anything. All right, so let's see what happens when I plug both of these in to see if I blow this thing up. Oh, both of them together. Be a timing thing, but that sounds awesome. Playing isn't moving. That's okay. Let's see if it thrusts. Okay. Well, it might not be a whole lot of thrust, but it's certainly loud. All right. So next up, I'm going to figure out how to mount the radio, the receiver, and then start calibrating the differential thrust. Okay, I just took it outside for a toss test, and it was awesome. Flew great. The ESC seemed to be mounted in a great spot, so we were just checking that. The extra wires that I added seem like they're good. Everything's balanced right now, so I still have to add the battery and the receiver. So as long as I mount it right in center, at the center of gravity, I should be good with that. So that's the last step, and then I'll be ready for maiden tomorrow. It is now 12 a.m. Flight is in less than 8 hours. So I'm gonna get the receiver on here and a battery mounted and go to bed. I chucked it outside. I'm trying to figure out the battery CG, and I think I figured it out. I had mounted the battery here. It's all nice and neat, but it really needs to go back here. I should have taped it before I put the mount on. So I chucked it. It looked good. I chucked it with a little power, and right there, snap, tui. So I'm gonna glue this back together. And maybe put some reinforcement there. It took a lot of nose hits though. And I think we're just about there. Okay, it is 1:30 a.m. and I think I'm done. All I need to do is put a piece of Velcro here for the battery. That way I can move it back and forth. The nose took longer to get back on than I hoped, but I reinforced it with a giant barbecue skewer down the middle and some other ones cross posted in with a bunch of tape and glue. So I think it's pretty sturdy. Now I'm kind of worried about the tail. I think that'll probably break. But if, I think it'll fly for a little bit. And if I recover my electronics, then I will be pretty darn happy. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow.